catalog, if anyone has the catalog handy. I'm excited to talk with you guys tonight about some really crucial aspects of your business that will be good for a new consultant and a seasoned consultant. So the key thing that I want to encompass most of my talk on tonight is the whole concept of every 4 add 1 more. So what this is, how many of you guys have heard of the every 4 add 1 more concept? Good. Okay, good. Awesome. So Kelly is doing a kicking job. For those of you guys to know that already, she's an amazing leader. You guys have an awesome organization. So essentially, those of you that have not heard about this, what this is think about it for like every 4 parties you do, add 1 new consultant to your team. So every 4 add 1 more. What I encourage for every consultant in our organization is to do every 4 add 1 more weekly. So doing 4 virtual parties a week, you could welcome a new team member every single week. And so you would be reaching all the rewards available to you as a new consultant if you're in the new consultant rewards. And for those of you not in the new consultant rewards, you would earn all the additional benefits that you can with the company, and you're earning commission in 2 ways: from your own personal sales from your parties, and you're earning commission from your team. So think about your business as having like 2 income streams, and it's really important that you have multiple income streams, but you can start out with 2. And so the first is your personal sales, like I just talked about. So when you bring sales in from your parties, you're making commission off that. And then the second one is when you have team members selling, you make money too. So the beauty of that is that, let's say you took a week off because you're going to go on vacation or you have surgery or something. You could take a week off of parties and you're still making money because your team is still submitting sales. So it's a really great way to also provide job security and income security by earning commission in those 2 different ways. So every 4 add 1 more on a weekly basis is the best way to be earning anywhere from $800 to $2,000 a month. So a lot of new consultants that I'll train, and I'm encouraging every 4 virtual parties every week, those consultants are earning $200 to $500 a month or a week, which is the $800 to $2,000 a month. So imagine coming out of your first month or implementing that this next month and coming out with $2,000 on your commission check for November or for December. Like, what would you do with that kind of income, right? And then as you're welcoming new consultants and they're doing the same thing, then you're also growing your income beyond that 2,000. So let's think about this, because I know a lot of people are like, Kristin, that sounds great, but I don't think I could do 4 parties a week. Does anyone feel like they're not too sure if they could do 4 parties a week? Okay, some of you. Or some of you might be thinking, how do I find the people to do 4 parties a week? Does anyone feel that way? Or both? So let's talk first about the idea of just running 4 virtual parties a week, and logistically, how do you do that? And a few pointers and tips for that are to batch everything that you can. So your hosts, you have, like, say you have 4 hosts, right? Like, you're doing the same thing with all 4 hosts. And so you're not like recreating the wheel with every single host. You can just lump your hosts together in a group chat and send them the things that they need, so that you're not having to send something 4 times. You just send it once to all 4 hosts. You can use a posting service like SendShare, Post My Party, which I recommend all new consultants do, so that you can simply focus on interacting with the guests. And then when you go to check your parties from a time management standpoint, set up a time in your day for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and don't look at your notifications for this. It will take forever. Instead, when you set your time for when you're checking parties, you're going to pull up one party, look at the party posts, look at all the comments, and reply. Scroll up, look at the next post, all the comments, reply, and go 1 party at a time. It will take you maybe 5 minutes to go through a party if you're doing it daily. If you have 4 parties, 20 minutes, you scroll, boom, comment, do your thing, 20 minutes of checking, and you're done. So it's really manageable, even if you're working a full-time job, to be able to do it with the systems that we have available to us now as consultants. Then let's talk about the aspect of like actually booking 4 parties a week. If you're like, I don't know where I'm going to get 4 bookings from to have 4 every single week. And my advice for you, for every consultant, is that asking for bookings needs to be a habitual, consistent task that you do every day in your business. Okay. So let's talk about what that means. If you're a very part-time consultant and you work your business 2 days a week, you're asking for bookings those 2 days every single week. If you're working your business 5 days a week and you are able to set aside 30 minutes a day or more for your business, then you want to make sure every day on those 5 days that you're spending time asking for bookings. And even for people like myself who run like 10 to 15 virtual parties a week, I still ask for bookings every single day. So that's what I want you guys to get in your mindset, is that this is a consistent, habitual task that you do every day in your business to keep your business running smoothly. I had a director call last night, and one of our directors shared, she's very consistent. She sells anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 a month herself. And I'm like, what do you do to keep your calendar strong? Because I want others to hear. And this, what she said was so awesome. She said, when I sit down to work my business, the first 10 minutes is me green dotting people to ask for bookings. And so green dotting is when someone is active on Facebook, you can tell they're active. Like Facebook shows you who's on at the moment. And so those first 10 minutes that she sits to work her business, she's like, I do it right away, because if I don't, I get distracted by messages, I get distracted by this or that or the other. So at least I know I did my job of asking for my bookings that day by doing it first thing. So that's the key, is always asking. And so for new consultants, and even if you're not new, you can still apply this same technique. But one of the things I suggest is go through your Facebook friends list A to Z. And as a new consultant, I suggest sending 30 messages a day asking people to book parties. So if you start with your A's, the reason I say to do it that way is because you can send out 30 messages, make a note where you left off in your planner or whatever you use to track things. Make a note where you left off, and then the next day you pick back up where you left off, you send another 30, you make a note, send another 30 the next day, make a note, and you're just chunking your way through your Facebook friends list. The other reason that I say to go A to Z is because you're probably going to ask people that you wouldn't have thought to ask if you would not have gone A to Z. And I just had a consultant a couple weeks ago, and she's like, Kristin, I'm so glad you told me to do that, because I booked parties with people that I didn't even think would say yes, and I would not have asked. So that's another reason why. And it makes it easy for follow-up, because we all know people get busy, they don't respond. Maybe they check it while they're like driving or something, and then they don't write back because it's not a good time. So always make sure that you're following up with like a simple message like, hey, did you get my last message okay? I know sometimes I open my messages until I forget to respond or get distracted. I was just thinking of you. And so if you know where you left off and where you started and what you've done each day, you can go back and do your follow-up 48 hours later, and it makes it pretty easy to have like a set system. Then your calendar is looking pretty good because you just sent out a ton of messages, 30 a day. You're going to fill your calendar really fast with 4 parties a week. Then where your 30 asks come from every day are those 4 parties that you're doing every week, right? So what I do is the following week, so like let's say this week I have 4 parties. I'm just going to make this up as an example. Next week, my 30 daily messages are all the people that were in the party and my green dots, right? Because those green dots are going to be helpful too, like I just shared that one of my director does. So I'm going to just pick a party and be like, all right, I'm going to do Susie's party today. I'm going to go through and message everyone, ask them for a booking. Tomorrow I'm going to do Karen's party. I'm going to go through and message everyone for a booking. So I kind of pick like a party a day, and I really work the bookings from the prior week. Every single day of that week. And that's my pool of people that I'm booking parties from. So those are a few tips for that. And when you're thinking about this every 4 add 1 more concept, you might be like, okay, that's cool, but I can't recruit to save my life. Like, does anyone feel that way? Like, you're not too sure that you can welcome a team member, like how do you actually like talk about the business? Okay, how many of you guys are like, I am not sure if I'm even comfortable welcoming someone because I don't know how to train them, like, or I'm new and I don't even think that I could do it myself, you know, like, okay, so getting a couple hands. This is just helpful for me to get a sense of like where you guys are at. So how you do this is you want to make sure that you are asking at least 3 to 5 people in every party about the business. So let me talk about where those 3 to 5 people come from. So, and that does not include the host, okay? Your host is someone you want to ask multiple times in your host coaching. I usually say 5, and that is spread out over the course of a couple of weeks when you're host coaching and working with them. So that is the first piece. Is your host is one of them. But these other 3 to 5 people in your parties, those are 2 types of people that you're looking for. So one is your party rock stars, which you might have already heard this term, but your rock stars are people who have commented on everything in the party. They're really engaged. Half the time they will be sharing recipes or they share their love of Pampered Chef products. They make amazing consultants. So definitely reach out to them on I usually do the last day of the party or the second to last day of the party before it closes for orders. And I'll be like, hey, you were such a rock star in Susie's Pampered Chef party. Thank you so much for your comments. You made the party a lot of fun. Have you ever thought about doing something like Pampered Chef before? And you would be surprised. They love the compliment, but you'd be surprised at how many actually are intrigued or interested if you have those conversations. And if you're doing a good job in your party of sharing about the business opportunity. So that's the one group of people you're going to message. The other group of people you're going to message about the business are people who ask questions on the Q&A post. So the Q&A post is the one that is like, ask me anything about the business for 10 bonus raffle tickets. And so anyone who asks questions, I always ask and message them privately about the business. And I'll say, hey, you had a great question about the business in Susie's Pampered Chef party. Have you ever thought about doing something like Pampered Chef before? So between the rock stars and the Q&A people, I can usually find 5 people to message about the business, and I'm talking to my host. All right. And so you think that that's like 6 people, 6 times 4, you have a lot of people you're talking to, because right, 6 people per party usually that you're reaching out to about the business, and then you have 4 parties a week. So that's a lot of people you're talking to. You're surely able to have that conversation and sign someone out of those 4. So the best advice I can give for you guys in this realm is it's your job to create desire in the party for the business. But then it's also your director's job to help you learn how to have the recruiting conversation. And so the best thing that you can do is you're reaching out to talk with people to start the conversation because you just created desire for the business and the party. And you then send screenshots to your directors. And your directors will help you with the one-on-one conversation. And if your director is not confident in this, your director can hopefully reach to their upline and ask for help and support as well. So that is how, when you're sending screenshots, send the screenshot before you respond back so that your director can help give you words of what to say, because that way you are learning while you're observing. You're learning, you know, like say Kelly's your director, you're sending her screenshots, and she's going to give you words to use. Well, then you're watching what questions she's asking, how she's overcoming no's or concerns, or how she's answering their questions. Like, there is method to the madness. And so by allowing your director to help you, you can see how that is going to play out and then learn at the same time. So that is a little bit more about the every 4 for the bookings, and then the add one more, and how to really start those conversations with people from your parties. So I want to share with you guys a tracker that I really like that I give my new consultants. And some of you might have seen this before, some of you might not. Can you guys see my screen okay? Okay. How many of you guys have seen this tracker before? Anyone seen this? Okay, some of you have, some of you have not. Okay, so the reason I like this tracker is two things. So one is a lot of consultants will be trained in direct sales on how to like do the basics, but they're not trained on systems or organizational processes that make your life easy to have like that organization and have a way to follow up with people. And this accomplishes that. But this also helps you understand where your metrics are, like what are you doing well and where are you lacking that you need more training or more skills or more help in. So what this is each of these rectangular blocks represents a week. So you can put your 4 host names right here, the date for the party. When you're asking your host 5 times, you check the box each time you ask your host. People you reach out to that are rock stars, you put their names right here. Put the first and the last name, okay? And squish the names in. I say 5, there's definitely not room for 5 here. They should have made this bigger. I helped design this and there was not more room and I was like, whatever, it's cool. This is an awesome tool, we're gonna use it. So squish the names in there, first and last name. Curious guests, those people that ask questions on the Q&A, put their names there. And then here's something that's also important is that you write down the parties that you booked off of that party and their names as well, because then you know who booked off of who. So you can go back to the host and they get their half off item. But more importantly is you can see, am I getting 2 to 3 bookings off of every party? Because that's the goal as a consultant is 2 to 3 bookings off every party. I could talk about bookings for like an hour. I won't right now, but that is so important. So track that too. And then down here, there's a spot for the signed recruit name of the person that joined your team from those 4 parties. Now, this will be perfect for a month because there's literally 4 rectangular blocks to represent the weeks of the month. And so you could print these out and put them in a binder if you wanted and track them that way. You could start a digital tracking system and utilize this or an Excel sheet or something. But here is why I like this, because after a while, you're going to be having these conversations with people about the business and you can put their name here. And if they don't sign up, now you have a list of names of people that you've talked to about the business. So let's say, I'm just making this up, that Pampered Chef comes out with a special, or they come out with something on the kits, just like we had last month was a good special, right? Or they come out with like a really good new consultant signing bonus or something. Now you have a list of people of everyone that you can reach out to send them the special. You just go to your binder where you have all these printed things, or you go to your folder where you have them all saved in your computer and you're like, look at all these names. I'm going to go and send out a bunch of messages. And now you have a solid place with all your notes. Another thing you could do is if there was anyone from the parties that did not book with a date, but they expressed interest in booking, you could include their information on this page as well. There's not a lot of extra room, maybe on the back or something, but that way you have booking leads as well. So when you're trying to fill your calendar or if a sale on something awesome comes up, you can be reaching out to those folks and try and get them nailed down for a date. So I could keep talking